Hey, it's Jeremy from OpticHouse.com. So, I am trying a little bit of an experiment here. I got an iPad for Christmas from my wonderful fiance, and I thought, let me give it a try and do a few digital sketches on it. So, I'm using an app called Procreate, and so far, it seems to do a pretty good job of duplicating a variety of media. It reminds me a lot of something of Painter Classic, sort of the old version of Painter that was stripped down. It's got a variety of different brushes that can simulate traditional media, a variety of traditional media. And the one thing I'm finding difficult is I'm not using my finger to paint. I'm using a stylus, but I still don't feel like I have necessarily as much control as I do when I'm using traditional media, which is kind of what I've expected. So far, it seems to me that what most of the people that I've watched draw on an iPad and use it regularly have said, which is that it's really good for doing layouts and comps and sketches and such, but it's not quite as efficient for doing finished artwork as doing stuff with a Wacom tablet or a Cintiq on a full-size computer is. However, I still wanted to give a try, and I did a few different figure drawing sketches just to give it a feel. Not having the sensitivity of having pressure control to make thick to thin lines, or pressure control to affect how dark or light a stroke is, that makes a big difference. And I don't feel like I have that kind of control yet. However, I've ordered a new stylus that's a Bluetooth stylus, and it's supposed to connect to the iPad and give digital feedback to the software. So even though it doesn't have the pressure sensitivity that's in a normal Wacom pen, it should still be giving it more feedback to tell it exactly what I'm doing, how I'm holding it, and hopefully that will give me a little bit more control and more refinement. If that refinement really works out well, then I may use the iPad to do finished artwork. I definitely feel like I'd be completely comfortable doing layouts and rough sketches on this thing. So that's working well. I still wanted to give it a try in terms of making a few finished pieces. So this colored image I'm doing now, well, it's not colored yet, but I'm doing a black and white pencil sketch that I'm going to refine into a finished drawing, or you'll watch me refine into a finished drawing, because I pretty much got done with it by the end of this video. The thing that was interesting is I was intending to do it in a painterly style without having ink line work. But as I got halfway through in working on it, it just seemed like the amount of detail that would be needed to make it feel, not even detail, just the amount of polish I would need to make it feel like a finished painting. I didn't have the control to get it, and I didn't have the patience to sit there and work with it. Because I really do feel if I sat and worked with it for a while, this being my first illustration, I might get better at doing something that feels more like a painting. However, I kind of got frustrated, and so I just went and used one of the inking tools in it and just did a nice holding line over all the figures, and then, over the figure, the girl and the dragon, and then went in and just sort of basically inked it as if I were inking a traditional drawing. Like you can even see I dropped out the gray tones so I could focus on just the line work itself. And then once I got done with that, I went back in and color adjusted the figures. Mostly a monochromatic, but with, the skin tones and the bright hair. That seems to work pretty well. It accomplished what I wanted to. And I did a couple more that I'll post eventually in this same style. But I also did another one that has no solid line work and is more of a painting. And I'm in the middle of doing another one on top of that. So I think that I'm going to go back and forth. I haven't found a set way that I really like working with this yet, but I'm going to have that new stylus. I'm going to keep experimenting. So, this is a different tool, no better or worse than traditional, but, it's always nice to experiment. Anyway, check out my website, optichouse.com. Go be creative.